So what we're going to be doing for this little video is we're going to be deploying the sale that will start on the 19th of June, so 2 weeks from today. We're going to deploy it now, so it'll be the real contract, but it just won't be activated until 2 weeks from now. So we're going to go through not just how we put it out there, technically speaking, but also how we're sort of how we frame the whole process and make sure that we get all the values right and double check all that, and then also verify the source on Etherscan. So I will share my screen and get started now.
Okay.
You seem to have muted me. Careful with that button. Okay, so let's see here. So I'm going to start just to go over this deployer. First of all, let me say that this code structure here, let me just collapse some of this. This is the same code that can be found at our GitHub repo, which is Team Toast Foundry. So that should load there, and you can see smart contracts, the folder there, and that is the folder that's expanded here. If you want to follow along in the Solidity, I would say start with the deployer here, and then you can see that we include different things here, and that's where sort of the bulk of the code for each of the components is. This deployer, it takes some addresses, which I'll be filling, or not addresses, arguments, which I'll be filling in a bit. It makes the forwarder, it makes the fry token, it makes the bucket sale. And then it mints a few things and adds minters. It mints 30 million total, which will go to my address, and I'll redistribute to Team Toast. And that is basically for redirecting the profit stream of Smoke Signal and Die Hard to Foundry, as well as the ownership of some ETH domains and an implicit agreement to work on the Foundry governance moving forward, which we've already begun, but we're going to get more serious about that as the sale goes along. Another 10% is given to the governance treasury, which is the same thing as this forwarder contract. Again, you can look at that code a bit later, but it's just the treasury. And so that is, so this at the end of the day will be 40% of the total that will be minted by the time the sale is done. So the sale is going to take 20 months, a little under 20 months. At the end of that 20 months, there will be 100 million fry total, and we've written about this on foundrydao.com, so you can look at the details there. But just to give you an idea, that's what these numbers are, and that's all we mint upon this deployment. So at the end, we'll be able to see that there's 40 million total supply of fry, which will increase once the sale kicks off. Then we add 2 minters. We add a minter for our own Team Toast multisig, and then we add a minter for the bucket sale. Obviously, the bucket sale needs to mint tokens as it sells them. And then this one is just so that we can grant minting rights to other things as we build Foundry. And then once Foundry is self-sufficient, we can renounce this add minter. And then the last thing this contract does is renounce its own minting rights, which isn't technically necessary because the contract can only do one thing. It's just a constructor. But just for cleanliness, we will renounce it. And this renounce minter is the exact same thing that we will do later as the Team Toast multisig when everything is up and running autonomously. And then at the end, we emit an event, which I will be using in a little bit to actually get the addresses of everything that's created. So that's the deployer. And I think I'm just going to jump right into the process here once I make sure that I'm still connected. Okay, yes. All right.
Connection seems pretty stable now, by the way.
Great, that is reassuring. I'm just going to cancel this and redo it. So the first thing we're going to be using a Remix to deploy all of this stuff. And a really nice way to use Remix is to use this thing called RemixD. It's a daemon that basically runs in a given directory, and then you can access that file system from Remix. So now that that's running, I can go to that's too many T's. Remix, there we go. And if you're doing this for the first time, you'll have to activate the module, but I already have it activated, which is why this pops up. Connect. So now this is the file structure that is on my computer, which is nice. So we're going to go into bucket sale and contracts. and deployer. So this is that same code we were just looking at. And we're going to compile it. 517 solidity, auto-compile, and optimize. I think I might have to restart this compile just to make sure the optimization is really happening. Okay, that's compiled. And now I'm going to deploy it. We want injected Web3. I guess my MetaMask is already unlocked. Yep. Okay, gas limit, I'm just going to set that to 9 million. And then we're going to go to deployer here. There it is. Now these addresses, some of these we're going to rederive again and check against some old values. So this is part of our process for just making sure nothing goes wrong. Some of this I'm just going to grab from my files here. So let's see here. This thing is in my way. Huh, okay. So we have my secure multisig and then the team toast secure multisig. So I'm going to grab my multisig, and that is going to be, whoops, yeah. That is going to be the invoice address. So that's where those first 30 million minted fry will go. Put that in there. Team toast multisig, pretty self-explanatory. And these will be verified after everything is deployed. So we're going to double check all this as well. Now start of sale. So here, I'm going to start rederiving this. So start of sale, I want to go to Unix timestamp. We want this to be 2020, June 19th, oops, 19th, and we want this to be noon UTC. Yep. So we can take this and, whoops, remix, put it in here, start of sale. Okay. Now the bucket period, we want that to be 7 hours, and this is going to be a number of seconds. So that's going to be 7 times 60 for minutes and times 60 again for seconds. That's our bucket period. Bucket supply, that's going to be 30,000. So that's going to be, and now this is going to, we're going to have to tell it the amount in the base unit. So it's not just going to be 30,000, it's going to be 30,000 times 10 up to the 18, because that's the number of decimals in our fry token. We're going to copy that, put it in here. Bucket count is 2,000, 2,000 buckets. And tokens sold for, so this is what we're selling the tokens for, what we're selling the fry for, and that's going to be the DAI address. So to get that, I'm just going to go to Etherscan and get that. I'm going to say DAI. And I don't know why it's not the top here. For some reason, it's the fourth one down in that list. But we can go here and we can copy this and slap that in here. Now I'm just going to go grab my, I'm just going to go compare these to the deployer arguments that we made before and just make sure they all match up. So I'm just going to expand this. Oh my gosh, that's just hard to grab. Okay, invoice address 0xCF, that should be mine. Whoops. Yep. Next one should be E5DDE. That's right. Start of sale. I'm just going to copy this and paste it in here to make sure they look the same. They do. And 25200 is the bucket period. That's right. Bucket supply. Again, that's 30,000 up to raised to the power of, or times 10 to the power of 18. That's how we get that number. 2,000 buckets. Yes, 2,000 buckets. And then token sold for is 6B175. 6B175. Okay, so that all looks good. Now, before I transact, I'm going to click this copy button, which it gives us the encoded arguments here. Let me, okay, I'm just going to paste that there for now. We will need to sort of massage that a little bit, but I'll get into that later. But anyway, the reason I'm getting that is a section of this, oh shit. Are we still live? Okay, I think someone just left. That's fine.
You're still live?
Okay, cool. I heard a sound and I got scared. Okay, so included in this big piece of data is our argument, these same arguments encoded in a way that we'll need when we want to verify the source code, but I'll deal with that later. But that's why I've copied that. Okay, now I can transact. So this will actually do all the work. Can confirm. And then I'm going to change the gas price. I'm just going to increase this by 1 just to make sure this gets done in a somewhat timely manner. It is pretty crazy, and it's both exciting and frustrating that things are costing so much. 20 bucks to deploy this stuff. On one hand, that is, it's like it's a recent thing to get used to pay so much for gas, but it's also still pretty cheap when you think about we're deploying this financial program / organization to a world computer. I just have mixed feelings on that. But let me just go watch that transaction now. Estimated confirmation duration is 2 minutes. Let me speed that up a bit. So for those of you who aren't familiar with MetaMask, okay, never mind, no need, it just got confirmed. So this page should reflect that in a bit. Okay, there we go. And you can see it already looks promising because we have the minting of 10 million Fry tokens to various locations. But before we get too much further, I want to click on this contract. And the first thing we want to do is verify the code. I just also want to check my list here, make sure I'm not skipping anything. Okay, we've used Remix to load the deployer. We activated optimization. I derived the args. I did check against this. Could the team toast member maybe verify? I don't know, were you doing that in the background or did we kind of skip that? Scott? Hello?
Hi there. Yeah, so I was just typing out a message there. I did verify some of your arguments. We're going a little bit fast through the thing. I didn't want to interrupt you on that.
Okay.
But we can validate them all as we run through the parameters now, because we're going to check out, we're basically going to check the entire Etherscan interactions with the contracts, and then we can see on their member variables whether or not they are correct. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, okay. I'm just going to move this down here to make sure we do get that. Verify it with team toast member. Okay. So that's good for now. Okay. We deployed the deployer via Remix. We are now going to verify the deployer on Etherscan. So this is one of those things that seems like it should be easier than it is. Remix has a plugin that doesn't work to verify on Etherscan. But anyway, let's not get into that. What we're going to have to do is a couple of different things. I'm going to start a new shell here and go into smart contracts bucket sale. So there's a NPM package you can get called the truffle flattener. And then you just pass it the what you want to flatten, which in this case was going to be contracts deployer. And then you need to tell it where to go. So we're just going to say flattened.sol. That should work. Okay. And that's just a way of putting all the code in one file, because Etherscan, when you want to verify an Etherscan, it needs it all to be in one file. So I can grab this and have this copied into my clipboard. Okay, now back to here. I'm going to go to contract, verify and publish. And again, this is just all on the deployer contract. Single file, 517, and no license, because we're cowboys. Well, I'm a cowboy anyway, when it comes to smart contracts. Okay, so there's our flattened solidity file. So that has all of the included stuff, and you'll see the very last thing here is our deployer. Anyway, now we need the constructor argument. So here is where I copied that stuff from before. Let me go to, I think it's here. Yes, there is our big monster of a thing. So this contains at the very end our constructor arguments. And we've just learned that this string of zeros begins our constructor arguments. There may be better ways to encode these, but this is just the way that we've found to do it. But if I just to get all this out of here and paste this. So again, this chunk here is the same values as this. It's just packaged in the way that the Etherscan is going to expect it here. So I'm going to copy this, put it into here, and then I'm not a robot. And and I need to say optimization is yes. And there we go. Okay, there we go. Success. So now we can click here. Now we can go to contract and see our code there. So that's great. And now not only does that verify code for other people, so you can go and look at this address now and see this, but we also get a nicely decoded event here. So I can turn these two addresses, and now you see, so we have a deployed event for the governance treasury, fry address, and bucket sale, and these are the addresses there. Let me just make sure I'm not skipping any steps here. Okay, we've verified the deployer. Now we're going to get the created contract addresses from the deployer event. So that's what we're in the middle of now. I'm just going to make some new tabs here. So we have those addresses, and the next step is verify code for the new contracts on Etherscan. Okay. So the first one here is the governance treasury. That is the forwarder contract. So I'm going to do, just to make this go a bit faster, I'm going to sort of do all these kind of at the same time. Verify and publish. Single file. Verify and publish. This really seems like it should be less schlep, but we have looked for something to make this faster and we have not found anything. Anyway, once again, I'm just going to set these all to no license and the compiler version that we're using. So 517, no license, 517, no license, continue, continue, continue. Okay, now we can use the same flattened Solidity code because this contains everything, all the contracts. So this code contains, we're going to be verifying the forwarder, the governance, and the treasurer, or forwarder, the governance, and the fry token, but that's all included in this flattened file, so we don't need to use any different code. The only thing we need to change is the constructor arguments. So for the forwarder, if we go load this up on Remix and pretend we're going to deploy.
Logan, you're breaking up again. Hold on. Pause.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No, connection's quite bad. Okay, it sounds like you're back.
Okay, let's just make sure the ping's okay. Ping.
Pong.
Okay, that seems good. And I'm still not breaking up now?
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So just to cover the last sentence or so that I said, I want to verify the forwarder contract. We're using the same flattened Solidity code, but I need to get out of the constructor arguments. So an easy way for me to do that is to go to Remix and essentially pretend I'm going to deploy the contract from Remix. It only takes one address, and this owner of the forwarder should be the Team Toast multisig. So I'm going to grab that from our, let's see, there it is, Team Toast multisig. Put that in there, and again, now I'm going to copy this, throw it in here, and then essentially, now we know there's only one argument, and it's this one that starts with all the zeros. So that is the address, and you can see also that E5DDE is the same as our Team Toast multisig. All right, so once again, I'm not a robot, and verify and publish. Okay, oh, that's not good. Looks like the constructor argument is different. We're looking for, so this is what they compiled with the code we submitted. Oh, optimization. I forgot to enable optimization. Okay, let me back up. Optimization, yes. Okay, let me get that code again. Flattened. Put in there and get the constructor argument again. Starting at these zeros. And I'm not a robot. Verify. And while I'm here, I'm just going to go change these to ESs as well. Let's see. Another failure. Expected. Did I not? Oh, I somehow got on the wrong file. Sorry, guys. Where is that flattened? I just misclicked there. Okay, let's try this again. Yes, optimization. It's that in there. Constructor arguments is still there. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we've got that one verified. Now I'm just going to do the next two as well. So if we look here, the next one is fry address and then bucket sale. Let me just copy the flattened file. Am I still connected? I just heard a sound.
You are still connected.
Okay, cool. So I'll put the flattened code in both of these. And then once again, it's just going to differ on the arguments. Now the fry one, which is the second one, doesn't take any arguments. So I can actually just leave that blank and click verify and publish. I'll just wait to make sure that goes through. Okay, cool. And now this one will take a little bit of manual. We got to get the constructor arguments all arranged. So again, I'm going to go here. And now I'm going to go to bucket sale, expand this, and we're going to fill in all this. So the treasury, well, that's what we've deployed here. And you can see it's the forwarder. That's the contract name for our treasury. So I can just copy that address and put it in here. Start of sale. So a lot of these middle values are going to be the same as we used before. So I'll just go to deploy arguments and start copying these over. Let's see. First one, so start of sale and bucket period. That is this one. And bucket period is this one. So again, we're not deploying anything new here. What I'm using this for is to encode the arguments that we already deployed, which will allow us to verify with Etherscan that what we put on, sorry, I'm busy, so we can verify what we put up is what we said we put up. Anyway, bucket supply, 3,000. Bucket count is not 3,000, sorry. That's a lot more than 3,000. Anyway, bucket count is 2,000. Token on sale. So now that's going to be, we're selling fry. So now I need to go and grab that address here. Once again, fry here. So that's right. Get that address and put it in. And token sold for is die, which I wonder if I do have that open here. Okay, cool. Die stablecoin, copy that address. Go back here, go there. And again, we're not transacting. We don't need to deploy. We're just getting the encoded data here. And go back to verifying, paste it in here. And once again, find where the zeros start and take off everything else. But the reason we can always do that is because our arguments are addresses, and every address starts with a bunch of zeros there. Okay, that should work. All right, there we go. So everything is verified on Etherscan. And so Yeah, that's nice, and you will see why that's nice in the next step. So we have now verified code for the new contracts on Etherscan. I'm just now going to go there and note the name and the address and put it in this file just to make things a bit easier. So deployer is here, forwarder is here, and I'm just verifying that this is the forwarder when I do this. And the fry is here. Oh, that's weird. And the bucket sale, of course, the star of the evening is there. Okay. So now the next step here, go to each verified contract and note the name, sorry, that's the one we just did. For each contract, read through its public members and validate. So this is, we're going to start using the fact that this is verified on Etherscan and read these contracts and make sure they're all correct. We don't need to do that for the deployer because all the deployer does is emit an event. It doesn't even have any members. We have what we need from there. But let's start with these other ones. So the forwarder, I'm going to go to read contract. And so the owner is the only member the forwarder has. And so we want to think, what should this be? The owner of the forwarder, which is also the treasury, should be the Team Toast multisig. So let's just look at this. It's XE5DDE, and then go back here and verify Team Toast multisig. That is what it is. So that's good. Okay, we move on now to Fry, and we want to verify a few things on this, if I remember correctly. Okay, so one thing we can verify is that my multisig account got the 30 million Fry that it should have. So let's grab my multisig account here and plug that in here and query, and we should see 3 with a bunch of zeros. We do, and now I'm just also going to plug this in here and make sure that the math works out. So if we divide this by 10 to the 18, we should get 30 million. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 30 million. So that's good. Another thing we want to check is make sure the minting rolls worked out correctly. We certainly want that to be functional. So we want 2 minters, as I was saying in the deployer. We want the Team Toast multisig and the bucket sale to be minters, and we want everything else to be false. So let's take Team Toast multisig, plug it in here. This should turn out to be true. There it is. Okay. Let's also take the bucket sale address, which is here. Plug that in. That should also be true. It is. And then just for completeness sake, I'm just going to take my multisig, which should not have a minting roll, and just verify that that does come out to false. There it is, false. Okay, that's pretty good. And then, as I said earlier, 40,000 is the total supply now, which is the 30 million that went to my account, and then the 10 million that is in the treasury. Yeah, we might as well verify that too, the balance of the treasury. So let's just get the forwarder address and plug it in here. Let's make sure this comes down to the same thing with the 1. Yes, it does. Okay, that's good. Now the last thing to verify is the sale, of course. So we're going to read contract. Okay, so now here, Skulk, do you want to verify some of these numbers? Bucket count, I think that's just more something we've decided. Bucket period, do you want to just verify that that's 7 hours? Okay,
yeah, so I'll verify that on my...
Let me just send you this address. I'll send this in the chat.
Okay, I'm verifying that stuff now on my side.
Okay, cool.
I think I'm going to share screen for a bit, and then you can take over again.
Sure. Let me turn off mine.
Okay, so the first thing is the bucket count. It's there are going to be 2,000 buckets. That's more of a decision than anything to check, really. It's just that is what we all agreed on. So yeah, the amount of seconds in a 7-hour period, which is how long a bucket lasts, is 25,200, so that's correct. Then the bucket supply, we want to be, okay, so we basically want that to be 30 million. So I'm going to divide that by 30 million quickly. And this should give us a number with 16 decimal points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't look correct. Let's have a look here. Logan, it looks as though this number might be incorrect, eh?
I think it's correct. I think your reasoning wasn't quite. So if that should give you 10 to the 18. No.
Yeah?
No. What did you divide it by? Did you divide it by? No, it's not 30 million. It's divided by 30,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm thinking of the other balance.
Yes.
Okay, so divided by 30,000, that gives us, okay, let me just start that over. So 10 to the power of 18 gives us that. Multiplied by 30,000 gives us that. Okay, and if I copy that and divide it by that amount, then I get 1. All right, okay. So those two match.
Okay, cool.
Okay, all right, cool. The buckets is a query we can only really run once there are buckets. All right, the buyer, that is a hard-coded value. Let's just look through all of this. Preferred. Okay, right, so the start date, we want to plug into
Unix timestamp is what I use. Well, you should use whatever you use, though, just for independence.
Okay, so we'll just take that there. All right, so that is indeed noon GMT on Friday the 19th when the sale starts. Okay, so that is correct. All right, so our terms and conditions, please note these. You can't participate if you're a US citizen, unfortunately. Okay, and then, okay, so token on sale, this should be the Fry token. Go look at the contract here and I read the contract. Then this should basically be, okay, right, so that has 18 decimals. That's correct. The name is correct, which is the Foundry Logistics token. The symbol is Fry. The total supply you've already checked.
Yeah, and maybe I would just check the transactions, just make sure this is the one that was just created rather than some other copy, just for...
Okay, so I'll have to check the internal transactions for when it was created. This was created 20 minutes ago.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's the token sold for. That's definitely the one that got created in the deploy script. And then, oh, sorry, the token sold for, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, token on site. Okay, right. So token sold for is the should be die that we're basically opening it up for. So that's 6B1754. We can look here, 6B754, and according to Etherscan, that is indeed the die stablecoin. Okay, and then the treasury. Go to the treasury. So that's basically where the bucket sale will be sending its funds. Let's go have a look there. Again, internal transactions created 22 minutes ago, so that looks like the right one. It received
the contract. It'll give you the. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It received 10 million Foundry Logistics tokens as we were running through there, and then the contract. If we read the contract, all right, we see who the owner is, and the owner should be the Team Toast multi-sig. Right. So, Logan, you can confirm that E5DDE1 is the Team Toast multi-sig. All right.
Yep, it is.
Okay, cool. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that was the last item on my list here.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and then you share again.
Okay. Well, I might just keep it on the video because I don't know if there's much more to share in terms, because the process is now over for everything we're going to do on screen. So now I'll just to recap, what we're going to do now is end the demo, and just for security purposes, just to hide sort of our implementation details for how we handle the multi-sigs. But what we're going to do is now we're going to make sure we can control the treasury. So we're going to send some dye to it, and then we're going to move the dye and the fry, some of the fry away, and then we're going to move the fry back into the treasury. Yeah, and then that will just confirm that when the sale starts and people start putting the dye in there, then it's, you know, it's not locked. We haven't messed something up there. We can take it out. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think we need to go over anything else on this video. I think this video is done. Do you have anything else?
No, does anybody else have any questions about the process we just ran through?
Yeah, questions are definitely more than welcome.
No, it seems as though you did an incredibly clear presentation of some Solidity code and that everyone followed along perfectly. Okay.
Perfect. That's the only way I think to interpret that silence. So I think we're good to move on.
Okay. Excellent. Cool, man.
Okay. Alrighty.
Bye.
Okay. Wow. Skulk.
Yo.